Oh, hello there, YouTubers. Welcome back to another episode of React God. We're continuing
Well,
the Dave Rubin Jubilee thing. Because, I don't know. It was pretty funny.
ever be a problem for anyone?
Well, diversity in and of itself is not a problem, but if
Of
you say
course.
we are
What
going
about
to
inclusion?
we are going to hire people and we are going to factor in all of these immutable characteristics inherently by saying we're going to elevate one group of people, you are going to have to discriminate against another group
Do you
of
have
people.
a
And that
diverse?
actually is racism
Do you have a
and or
diverse,
bigotry.
unique experience based on your?
No. Should I take the long way of explaining what racism actually is? It's a system/ideology of supremacist values based on ethnic traits and nationalist identities. Kind of like, okay, there's no actual science to back up, you know, the idea. Basically, okay, pause there. Basically, racism is the idea that one group inherently possesses superior genetic traits to another group, which is why, people like Dave Rubin defend the West because they think Western development was based off of the inherent virtues in European peoples. It's not. Western development was developed off of the backs of, you know, there were some technological advance achievements that the West had developed, that the West had gotten ahead of the rest of the world on significantly, which allowed them to then exploit the rest of the world and develop their cities and their countries into the metropolitan, you know, modern, luxurious places they are.
Your gayness that other people will never.
It's so, like, should I even bother explaining these basic concepts? I guess I should because, like, I don't know. I don't even have an audience to explain this shit to, though. But I guess if there's a chud that rolls in here and he has no idea what racism is, and he's just, you know, or he has no idea about, like, you know, it's not, you can't be racist to white people because there's no systemic, historic, or, um, yeah, there's no systemic or historic structures that have been imposed upon white people in the same way they've been imposed upon black people, slaves in the US, or through colonialism in the global south. That's why it's not possible to be racist against white people because racism developed off of that exploitative relationship between Europe and the global south. Okay. So if you're saying like cracker or making slammer memes on Twitter about white guy pilots and whatnot, white guy pilots crashing the planes and whatnot. That's more so a spiritual jab at the loss of soul and psychosis that Western European societies have experienced as a result of, you know, their cope in trying to understand politics in the world and justify themselves at the same time. You know? Okay, anyway. Did that do a good job?
Ever have.
Is that a
I'm
good
sorry?
job?
Does your gayness give you insight into certain experiences that other people simply will not have because they're not gay?
Well, I suppose as a gay person, I do have experiences that some people don't have.
And you
yes.
probably have knowledge
That was
and,
funny.
and
Did you not
experiences.
catch that?
I
You
did
didn't-
get
you
the joke.
kinda- you got that? Okay.
I mean, lots of
Okay.
people do all sorts of crazy
okay.
sex. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
But the issue
Wait,
is,
what?
I
You
did
didn't-
get
you
the joke.
kinda-
Yeah,
You got
no.
that. Some people don't have.
And you, because they're not gay.
Well, I suppose as a gay person, I do have experiences that some people don't have.
And you
yes.
probably have knowledge
That was
and,
funny.
and
Did you not
experiences.
catch that?
I
You
did
didn't-
get
you
the joke.
Oh God. I didn't hear. Did you not catch that? Yeah, great. I got fucked in my butt. Like, okay. What?
You
Yeah,
got
no.
that? Okay.
I mean, lots of
Okay.
people do all sorts
Yeah,
of crazy
okay.
sex. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
But the issue is that what we're talking about here when we come to diversity.
But I wouldn't want that
is
to
a
have
benefit.
anything. I wouldn't want that to have anything to do with me being hired. Or
Sure,
me
but it's
being
really
allowed
hard to
into a
compare. So,
school.
sir, let's say I granted
Yeah.
you all of the woke harms.
Yeah.
The issue is that it didn't take us to Iran. It didn't kill schoolgirls. It didn't right now crush with the FCC and kick multiple people off of air and threaten to pull things. It's not burning books in
Wait,
Florida.
Who's been kicked off air?
Jimmy Kimmel got kicked off of air. ABC was regularly under threat for doing these things. The FCC president,
ABC made a
president
decision.
came out after
Jimmy
Trump
Kimmel-
called
but
him
Jimmy
and
Kimmel's
said
on air.
that we
Jimmy
can't have these
Kimmel's
type of
on air.
things. They crushed James Talarico. But this has happened over and over again. There
What do
are
you mean? They
books
crushed
being
James
burned.
Talarico. James Talarico is the nominee right now.
They crushed his appearance.
They just canceled his appearance on live TV. He still went and did the show, and they uploaded it to YouTube and got millions of views, millions more views than they probably would have had it normally aired.
What do you mean they crushed
The
his appearance?
FCC wouldn't allow his appearance.
That was Barry Weiss shooting herself in the foot over there at CBS.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have literally no idea
guess
what you're
look
talking
it
about.
up.
We got a pause there.
Yeah.
I think you were talking about Colbert's show, but you've been voted out by the majority.
Okay.
I want to tell you a story.
I used to believe that Jesus was.
You guys are slow, bro. How's it going, Dave?
You're quick. How you doing? How you doing?
So, I just quickly wanted to recognize, I love this, by the way. You have a very unconventional household, and wokeism has brought you that household, right? To live with your husband, to have your 2 children, or conceive through surrogacy, and I appreciate that.
Wokeism didn't bring that. Equal
Yeah, it did.
rights.
Dude, what do you think the expression of wokeism was before it was called wokeism?
Equal rights.
So
brought that,
wokeism is,
equality.
as I define it, as I
Yeah.
view it personally, is looking to expand on already existing.
It's like, yeah, bro, if they had the same terminology back then when all that shit was illegal, that would have been called wokeism too.
Civil liberties, right? To ensure that, to ensure America practices.
But instead, because when, gay rights were an issue and still somewhat controversial, like this wokeism term has really only come up since Trump. Is only it's more. It's like, yeah, man, they didn't call it wokeism back in the 70s or at the Stonewall riots because, the opposition to equal rights and gay marriage, they just called, the opposition to that just, was doing red baiting, calling these guys communists and stuff like that instead of woke. Ugh. They didn't have the internet terms that developed off of Black Twitter,
What it preaches, equal protections, inclusion of everybody, democracy, etc. So it's not a policy prescription, it's a social prescription. Donald Trump is president. He's the head of the executive branch. He has a trifecta, a judiciary that's on his side. Donald Trump's violent. Donald Trump's destroying the pillars of America: democracy, negative rights, the rule of law, our Constitution. The list goes on and on. So I'm just curious to see what institutional damage has wokeism done. And
sure,
if
well,
you want to engage with Trump being violent, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just don't agree with anything you said there, period. First off, wokeism isn't what led to, say, gay marriage. What led to gay marriage is a fight for equality under the law. If you believe
His face is perfect, and he's like, and what is that expression called today?
that heterosexual marriage, that an adult should be able to engage in any sort of contract with another adult, then that
This is why I think Dave Rubin is just like straight up stupid. Like he's genuinely just dumb. Like I don't think he understands a blick of what he's talking about. Like I think he legitimately thinks wokeism is like an anti-white kind of movement, anti-white racist movement, you know?
that has to be equal. That's what equal protection, which you just mentioned, is, and that's actually what the decision was based on.
Yes.
So that was not wokeism. That was the promise of America, which is the promise of individual rights and equal opportunity. As for a few of the other things that you said there, again, I mean, if we could do the, you want to do the Iran thing again?
No, I said Donald Trump is violent.
Yeah, so Donald Trump is violent in what sense?
Yeah, so I also want to mention the reason why you left.
Yeah, man, he just, you know, has been bombing Iran for the past 2 months. Started a war with Iran for the past 2 months. Still arming Israel as it continues genocide in Gaza and ethnically cleansing southern Lebanon. Oh yeah, we also kidnapped, he also kidnapped a sovereign head of state from Venezuela. Not violent, though.
The left, correct me if I'm wrong, is because you believe progressives were turning to authoritarianism. Am I correct there?
I mean,
that was your PragerU video. You said it. You can't deny it.
Settle down, Chip. There was a panoply of reasons that I did.
But that's one of them, correct?
Yeah.
Do you think it's authoritarian for the president of the United States to call for the death of 6 active members of the legislature for making a video that is totally fine and legal?
It's interesting. Oh, well, first off, you're talking about the video where they basically, Mark Kelly and several of these guys were basically saying if you're in the military, you can go against, you know, Trump and all those things. Well, first off, there are some legal actual reasons that perhaps you should not, as a former member of the military, be telling.
Yeah, the punishment for making videos is death. Yeah. I forgot. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Did anyone
hang him? George Washington Wood.
Did anyone get put to death?
It doesn't matter. The president of the United States is actively calling for the death of members of the legislature.
And is anyone in trouble? Is anyone in trouble
because
that? You're missing the difference.
No, you're saying Donald Trump.
Okay,
no, hold on.
Hang on.
Let's just understand the prompt here. You said wokeism has done more.
God, it's just like. Okay.
More damage than Donald Trump ever did.
So
can you tell me a single time wokeism is doing something remotely similar?
So remotely similar as Donald Trump
damage?
Being slightly sarcastic.
I can give you damage.
Let me explain something.
I can give you the damage. Hold on.
Listen, let me explain something to you. Donald Trump, all you need to know about, for any one of you guys that think that Donald Trump's coming for you because you're gay or you're trans or something like that, or you're black or anything else, might I recommend you just read Art of the Deal, which Donald Trump wrote about 40 years ago.
It's terrible. It's just discussing his activities throughout the week.
You can dismiss it. You can dismiss it. But Donald Trump gave you his playbook 40 plus years.
Yeah, it's because these guys, I don't know. This reminds me of like when my college professor made me read Madeleine Albright's autobiography for class, do a seminar on it. Like, you know, I didn't really know who she was at the time. Or she was a new character in my universe. And so, yeah, I didn't read it with as critical a lens as I would have today, or write about it with as critical a lens as I would have today. But now it's just like, oh. Have you read this terrible book that proves nothing? or that demonstrates nothing about how politics should operate or does operate. I don't know. Especially in terms of Donald Trump and the art of the deal, like he is famously a just total flop of a businessman. He's basically grifted his entire career off of the backs of not paying, not following through, not paying his end of the bargain, and or going bankrupt, and some, buy, borrow, dying his way through it.
Years ago, 40 plus years.
The Apprentice movie is pretty good. Pretty good insight, I think, into Trump's early life. Except I think I feel like it comes off a little tame from what I would expect from Donald Trump. But I don't know. Because there's no Jeffrey Epstein in The Apprentice, but there's the gay lawyer guy, Cohen, what's his name? I don't know. Trump's what's the word? His master? No, not his mentor. Trump's mentor. Anyway. In doing, corrupt bullshit to fucking grift your way through life. Robs, cheat, and steal. Anyway.
Years ago, he gave you the playbook on how he negotiates. He leads with crazy
So this is irrelevant
things.
to what I'm currently talking about, right?
No, it's completely...
No, you asked me about damage. I can give you examples, but you don't want them because you know you're going to get fried.
No.
No, that is the truth.
It's completely
Donald Trump
irrelevant.
tried to rewrite the Constitution via executive order with Executive Order 14160. And it was followed up by 141601, where they used this to target individuals for pro-Palestinian speech like Mahmoud Khalil. And this was already ruled upon, by the way.
All right.
I'm sure you know about this, correct?
Yeah. Okay, first
but he
off,
tried to rewrite the Constitution via executive order.
Fact check. Executive Orders 14160 and 141601 are not orders trying to rewrite the Constitution to target pro-Palestinian speech. 14160 is a birthright citizenship order, and 141601 does not exist. The Trump administration has instead used executive both bills to justify. Okay. So the fact check is this guy just had his 5-digit bill numbers wrong. It's like, okay. The gist of what he's saying is still true. Whatever.
President do that?
There is a difference.
Can the president do that?
Hold on. There is a difference between exercising free speech.
He's not answering.
There's a difference between exercising free speech and closing down a campus and not letting students get. You're an interesting character. Yeah. No, you seem nice. There's a difference.
I assume he's like a Jewish anti-Zionist. This guy, or at least by the hair. I don't know. Maybe I'm racist. And his name is David too. So he's an Omega-based God mode politics guy, probably.
Difference between exercising free speech, which I will always defend.
Like me.
Defend your free speech, no matter how noxious it is.
The president
and closing down campuses. No, they weren't. No, Mahmoud Khalil and all of these masked
He was
Hamas
almost
jihadis.
deported with no cause, and it's literally in the documents of the case.
Well, first off, Marco Rubio has illustrated the point many times.
true.
If you're here on a green card or a student visa or anything else,
no
you don't have the exact same protections that you don't.
Congress shall make no law. What?
No. For people that are citizens of the United States of America.
What's the precedent for that?
Wait a minute.
Nothing. So Donald Trump tried to sign an executive order rewriting the birthright citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment. Where did he get this power?
Let me ask you something. Is it
authoritarian to act on a self-granted authority?
Hold on.
Can you answer my question?
Hold on.
You're not going to.
Yeah, I got to let me chat here for a sec. Listen.
Dave, talk.
Let me ask you something. Let's try it this way. So let's say you and your girlfriend went on vacation for a
Okay, listen. I'm not going to answer your question. Let's move on to a different thing entirely.
Bora. You show up to the most beautiful place on earth, and she's 7 months pregnant, and she then gives birth in Bora Bora.
Brilliant.
Child should be a citizen of French Polynesia, Bora Bora.
The
And you
United
think
States
that
affirms that just
sense?
solely principle, and I'm sorry the president cannot defy it because he doesn't like it.
The president,
That's how our country works.
No,
and
you
that
can
is an
fight
example
it.
of damage to
you
America.
You can fight it in the courts. You can fight it in the courts.
He doesn't
right?
like the courts. He ignores them. Prior to the Alien Enemies Act removals, Emile Beauvais...
Okay, we're out of time. We got to stop there.
Okay, got you.
My next surrounded claim is if you still vote for Democrats in 2026, you're voting for broken cities, broken schools, and broken borders.
If you would like to debate this claim, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
This is Ian McKellen inviting you to a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Discover the power of the One Ring.
MAGA is great, though. Fucking gold mine, dude. Comedy gold mine.
Hey, how are you, Santana?
So, can you explain a little bit about what you mean broken cities, broken schools, broken borders?
Sure. Well, broken cities, I would base.
He's just saying, like, oh, the big cities are scary because there's homeless people. And the public schools are bad because the teachers are transing the kids. Or something like that. And then for the border, whatever, fucking psychotic, racist, hysteria. You know, all that. The rapists are coming over the border. Throwback to Trump 2016. Somalis are eating cats and dogs. Whatnot. Yeah. Brilliant. Just like a totally... It's, you know, mirror world stuff, you know? How do you address this without giving a speech or a lecture on how the world works for babies? You know? Anyway.
Basically, you can boil it down to crime and drug use. And I can tell you, having been here in Los Angeles for the last 36 hours, I have seen more homeless people, more drug use.
And of course, the problem with all these things are that, you know, the American system is controlled by people who want to maintain their wealth, power, and control over society. So they deliberately put politicians and talking heads like Dave Rubin into positions of prominence so that these are everlasting problems. When there are solutions to this, like broken cities and dealing with homelessness, you build housing. Public housing, social housing, broken schools, fund the schools, pay teachers more. In broken borders, we need to send more judges down to process, you know, asylum seekers, immigration requests, whatnot. That's the problem at the border, is that people can't get through legally in a sufficient time or a proper my English. My vocab is so shot in the head, dude. Anyway,
more urban decay than I've seen in the last 5 years combined living in Florida.
Florida?
Yeah. In terms of schools, it's basically brainwashing kids and teaching them what to think instead of teaching them how to think. And then what was the third one in terms of, borders is the easiest one. I mean, under the Biden administration, we let in somewhere, we don't even know what the actual
God.
number is, but somewhere between 16 to 20 million illegals. If Donald Trump did quite literally nothing else in his presidency, just getting control of the border, I would say would be good enough, because you don't have a country if you don't know who is in it.
Okay. All three of your claims are wrong. Pick which one you want to be proved wrong on.
Let's do borders.
Perfect.
Okay.
Donald Trump is absolutely the worst president on the border. First and foremost, you can talk about the Langford bill, which was a piece of legislation which would have strengthened our borders, but Donald Trump had that legislation shot down. He
wait. So were the borders open under Obama?
Ugh, this is so dumb. Why are you defending the Democrats' bill to fucking... That's the bill that the Democrats were trying to pass in 2024 to be like, Trump doesn't want strong borders, right? Like, that's not something you want to defend, bro. And that's not how you defend, or that's not how you, the issue here at all.
No, or under Biden. Let's try that. The borders were not open.
What piece of legislation did he pass to open the borders?
No, it's not about a piece of legislation. It's about quite
so
literally.
How do you open the borders without legislation?
God, this is so annoying. Just talk about how long it takes to get processed at the border, dude. You literally have tent cities of people waiting to get you had. Prior to Trump, 10 cities of people waiting to get processed at the border, you know, because we deliberately made it impossible for a lot of these people to get through because of how slow the immigration process is. So you need to send more judges down. More immigration judges down there to process the claims. That's the issue. The reason it's not getting processed is because the reason this issue is not getting addressed because business owners in the US make a hefty amount off of being able to pay their laborers like sub-living wages, where they're basically forced to live in squalor and work all week. But, you know, it's still a better situation. Well, squalor in terms of, like, a lot of people in immigrant communities are living in squalor. Not due to their own faults, but just because, you know, they don't have money. They don't have protections. And you're often locked out of these things if you don't speak fluent English. Okay? They have to work a lot just to survive. What were they talking about?
You just let people through, which is exactly what we're doing.
There was no one standing at the borders. Everybody just come.
Yeah, man, people are coming through because they want to live a life and work here. Most people who are coming through the border are not criminals, gang members. Like looking to rob Americans. And the ones that do come through the border, that do come through the southern border, that are part of these gangs or criminal networks, are often white. They're the ones doing the trafficking. White people. White American citizens. Okay.
Come right in.
In many cases, yes, actually. In many cases, they were quite literally moving barbed wire fence.
Where did you get this information?
There are videos of it. Have you ever seen the video of Bobby?
Did you fact check the videos?
Have you ever seen the video of Bobby Kennedy when he was running as a Democrat, standing at the border? He was still a Democrat.
Wait, you're talking about the same one that sniffed coke off a toilet seat and admitted it recently.
Wait, no.
The same one that actually...
Maybe not all the mules that are caught at the border are white, but 90% of them are American citizens. Which means statistically more likely to be white than... I don't know. Regardless, it's not immigrants that are crossing the border with drugs and gangs and stuff. It's American citizens and the CIA.
She took a dead bear and dropped it in Central Park. The same one that actually chopped the head off a whale. You're citing RFK Jr.?
Yes, I am citing RFK Jr.
No, I don't hear that.
Who's running HHS as a Democrat, standing at the border. He was still a Democrat.
Wait, you're talking about the same one that sniffed coke off a toilet seat and admitted it recently.
Wait, no.
The same one that actually took a dead bear and dropped it in Central Park. The same one that actually chopped the head off a whale. You're citing RFK Jr.?
Yes, I am citing RFK Jr.
No, I don't hear that.
Who's running HHS.
It's awesome, dude. It's awesome. Cite the least credible man probably in the US. Or if not, top 10 least credible people in the US, RFK Jr. You know? Oh, God. Yeah.
Right now,
which he shouldn't be, but that's fine. Yeah. Listen, when you talk about
how many people do you think came in under Biden? Let's see if we're even operating on the same plane.
The acceptable number is about 10 million.
Okay, so all right, fair enough. So I'll grant you that.
I love that Dave's assumption is like RFK was like when he went to the southern border as a Democrat or whatever, he was operating in good faith. Not just as like a crank looking to make a name for himself in politics. Ugh, so easily duped.
They say it could be anywhere. I've heard 16 to 20 million, but let's say it's 10. Do you think that's good or fair or just or how a country can operate?
I think that when you create instability throughout the world and then you also tell people that your country's open, then you create an actual quote-unquote border crisis. Think about this really quick.
What instability was Joe Biden causing?
What was Barack Obama's nickname?
Barry?
Deporter-in-chief. Barack Obama had a negative immigration.
I thought his nickname was the Drone King.
Rate. That means that he deported more people than he let into the country.
So you're for deportation.
So we can say that there wasn't a border crisis under Obama, right?
The border crisis was significantly worse under Biden.
But under Obama, was there a crisis?
Barack Obama did.
Yes or no?
Barack Obama.
Yes or no?
Barack Obama did deport. I think more people than Donald Trump.
So,
yeah.
but then
I wish
saying,
Donald Trump was deporting more people.
Sure,
yeah.
I agree. So you're saying there was a crisis under Biden?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
But no crisis under Obama.
No, I didn't say that. He was deporting.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Wait, hold on. Let's do Biden.
He had a negative deportation rate.
Let's do Biden and Trump. Biden and Trump. Let's do the last two administrations.
Just answer the question. Yes or no?
I am for anyone that will close borders and deport
I'll say
people.
no. I'll say no.
That's pretty good.
So if there wasn't a crisis under Obama and there was a crisis under Biden, what happened in between those two administrations? Was there something that happened?
Wait, are you blaming Donald Trump for?
Just like, I don't know. This is odd because it's like trying to make Dave Rubin try to like think critically about the development of time, like the timeline and how events have developed over time. And it's like, what do you mean? One thing leads to another? You a Batman? You're saying there's only one timeline that we're living on? What about this other dimension where, I don't know, where Donald Trump is the best? I like that. Let's go there.
For Joe Biden's border?
No, what I'm blaming Donald Trump for is when he's actually campaigning for president and he's going around and to any news organization that will let him speak and telling everyone that the border's open. They're wide open. Come on in. Come on in. And he actually created something that wasn't there. So wait,
you're blaming people coming to this country illegally. You're blaming Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who really only appeared because of borders, right? Build a wall.
There wasn't a border issue.
That's what
there wasn't a border issue when he said that. Right, but then when there was instability,
we've always had
there was a border issue, and it was the same under Obama. people's fealty to Obama is just kneecapping. They're just, you know, doing the put a stick in the bike meme there. Whenever people try, like, that's the problem with I don't know, self-identifying Democrats, I guess, because they feel like they have to defend the virtues of Obama in almost every respect. But they're not defending the truth here, you know.
We've always had a completely porous border.
We had a negative
very
deportation rate under Obama. He created the actual desire for people to come here because he told the lie that the borders was open.
Wait a minute, but why?
So
but if America's a
here.
racist, evil, capitalist country, why would these people want to come here?
Because it's still better than the countries that they're in, because the United States of America
is pretty good,
destabilizing other countries. Our CIA keeps destabilizing other countries and overthrowing other countries.
So who did
We're
Barack,
doing that right now.
So who did Barack Obama destabilize that then Donald Trump allowed?
Libya, Yemen. Oh wait, that Trump? That was Trump, I think. Venezuela too, right? Was Juan Guaido under Trump? That happened under Trump. Fuck. What else? I was 8 when Obama got elected. Okay, so I was a baby. I was not paying attention to this stuff. So don't go too hard on me. I think Afghanistan. We were still in Iraq under Obama, right? What else? What other places? What other geopolitical madness was the US up to under Obama? I'm sure there are other things, but Libya, Afghanistan, and Iraq are the major ones. Are the major flaws, at least in Obama's foreign policy. Anyway, I gotta go to work. YouTubers, if you like that, hit the like button down there. And I don't know, subscribe. Do it, bitch. I mean, friend. Bye.